Dating is totally a numbers game, and I've done the math. Look at this comment. All those dates but no boyfriend? Yeah, well, it's a numbers game. Here's the math behind it. I'm going to use January as a jumping off point. In January, I went on dates with 10 different men. And yeah, I know this math is oversimplified, but you get the gist. No, all in all, these were all good dates in their own right. You know, everyone was kind to me, everyone was cool. There were no horror stories. However, 60%, yes, 60% of those men ghosted me. 20% sent me a rejection message, a text, and 20% I sent them a rejection text. So if you add the number of men that ghosted me plus the other 20% that rejected me, overall, that's an 80% rejection rate. Yes, I get rejected 80% of the time, hence no boyfriend. I just thought that doing this math was really important because insecure men out here in the comments, they seem to think that I just go on dates and women go on dates to just use these people, right? It's not like that at all. Look at how many times I'm getting rejected. And yes, the man took me out to a very nice, expensive date. So what? Get over it. If this bothers you dudes, then get out of the dating game or don't date women like me. If you put 10 people in a room and you think that one of them is guaranteed to like be a match for you and be a compatible partner, fuck out of here. If that's what you guys really think, then your standards are not high enough and you're definitely not being selective enough. But as I always say, I will die trying. So I'm going to keep playing this numbers game until I finally win the dating lottery. I feel it coming.
It's not a numbers game, it's a personality game. If 80% of those men did not want anything to do with you, you have to improve parts of yourself to increase your success percentage. Men don't ask for much, but you fail to deliver.
Hopeless.
So I was discussing dating with my stepmom, and I joked and said, you know what, the problem is I'm just very attracted to the conventionally attractive man that most other people agree is attractive. I thought she would laugh. No, this woman stares directly into my eyes, directly into my soul, and tells me that I will never find love in that group. And honestly, I know that she's right. And yet I'm not quite sure how to break the habit.
Her stepmom knows what it takes to find a suitable relationship, but she's chasing after Chads and Tyrones and can't help herself. She doesn't want to break her carousel riding habits. She's already hit the wall and losing her value every single day.
It's already been lost.
So I went on a date yesterday and I was so excited for this date. The guy seemed like really good looking, really smart, whatever. But I noticed one thing on his Hinge profile, that the question that asked, do you want kids? It said no. So the first thing I did when I got my first sip of wine on the date was ask him, hey, I noticed this on your profile. Like, do you not want kids? Or was that a typo? I was hoping it was a typo. But he was like, oh no, yeah, I don't want kids. And my ex and I broke up because of this. I was like, oh boy, okay, let's hear it. And what was super interesting to me is the reason that he gave me, this is the third guy I've gone on a date with that has given me this explanation of why they don't want kids. And I will never understand or ever relate to this reason. Basically, he said he thinks the world is a bad place and it's only getting worse. And he doesn't want to have kids because he doesn't want them to suffer. And I don't know, like, maybe I'm just an optimist and I see the world as a good place. And I think one of the biggest joys in life is like contributing to the next generation, having kids, raising them to have good morals and how to give back to society. And I also told him, I was like, when you say that, it sounds like you're saying like, oh, I don't want to go on a trip because I'm scared that my plane's going to crash. Like, why think so negatively? And he's like, oh no, that's different because the odds of a plane crashing are so low. I was like, well, if you're a good parent, the odds of your kid suffering should be pretty low too. Like, I don't know, like maybe someone can enlighten me, but like, I will never understand this perspective. And he came back from the bathroom. I was like, I told him right there, I was like, this is a deal breaker for me. Like, let's just be friends. And we split the check.
If she wants kids, why is she going on dates with men who she knows don't want kids? I partially agree with those men. Raising kids in the West is probably one of the worst things we can do because children are exposed to all sorts of social conditioning in the schooling system. You've got to be very careful what they put into your children's heads these days.
Sort of brainwashing them.
I agreed to meet this bloke at my local park, and because he was coming to me, I said I'd grab the coffees because it was this time of year, it was a little bit nippy. Anyway, when he pulls up and gets out, I was just like, oh, you are exactly what you said on the tin. He had blue eyes, he was rugged, he had a stubble. I was dribbling a little bit. He was beautiful. He was like a pylon. He was really tall, but 5'2", like I say, I'm not a heightist, but I did get a little bit of a crook in my neck when I was listening to what he was saying. Anyway, so he says to me, I'm just going to get the dog out at the back of the car. Now, I wasn't really expecting a third party, but I thought, do you know what? I get it, 2 birds, 1 stone, why not? So he opens the back of this car up, and I'm expecting this like cute little chihuahua thing. It was like a chuffing horse. It was massive. Its nose came up to my shoulder. I can't remember what make he said it was, but this dog was like a tractor. It was a machine. It was just phenomenal. Anyway, he puts this lead on it, right, which is one of those extendable ones that like extend for years and never retracts. So we start walking and we're like having a chin wag, and this dog starts circulating. And I'm thinking, oh, it's going to have a shit in it. Did it ever, right? I kid you not, this crap this dog chucked out was like a workman had got his cement mixer, rimmed it, and then emptied it, right? And it just poof, on the floor. It was steaming because it was cold. It hit me in the back of the... I tasted its pooticles, right? It were nasty. It was disgusting. And this bloke's going, I feed it top quality food, so his poo's like super good to pick up. I don't care about your dog's poo. He knew that this dog pooed big time, right? Because he didn't have one of them little poopy bags. He had a bin bag, right? And he's turning it inside out and he's shoveling it up with his hands. While he's doing that, I'm like gagging, holding both coffees. The dog's wrapping itself around my legs, my torso, and I'm like hanging. And I'm thinking, I'm not having a good time. This is just not my idea of fun. So once he clears the dog poo up and he's carrying around this mound of what I can only describe as fertiliser that he probably sells to farms, because it was not going to fit in a poo bin, like you have for your dogs. He's holding the dog and his poo, so I'm carrying the coffees, and he's chatting away. And he was really funny. He had a lot of things to say, and I liked his stories, but not once did he ask anything about me. I'm not self-absorbed, but I feel like you need to exchange conversation. So I sort of said to him, like, you know, I'm not really feeling this. I said, so you're lovely, you're beautiful, but not for me. And he went, yeah, me neither. He said, we've got nothing in common. Well, how the hell do you know what we've got in common? You've not asked me one thing about myself. So how would you know?
This is a grown woman over 50 who is complaining about her date because of the dog and the fact the guy is doing normal and responsible things a dog owner would do. If she was in a relationship for 5 years, would she end the relationship if the dog did those things? The level of immaturity blows my mind. I do agree that people should ask each other questions to get to know each other on dates, but she seems to be more concerned with the dating experience and having fun, rather than looking for a partner who would be suitable for a long-term relationship.
She's a lost cause.